Just going to show you from scratch how to open it. You go to Google, open Google, go to altgenerations.com. This is more for Bobby than Tiffany. I just want to cover all the bases, give you an overview and then see if you guys have any questions or comments. So this is the site. Alt Generations has a number of elements. The primary functional element that the whole thing is built around is the ebook.
Got it.
And I think that, Tiffany mentioned that if you click on ebook, you'll see, Tiffany mentioned the pictures are pretty cool. A lot of people are into, obviously, they're wonderful black and white pictures with people like the Stones or Hendrix, or even some, Keith is here, Charlotte, who's a stepmom, Timothy Leary, some of our guest artists, Kim Shuck, who's the San Francisco Poet Laureate. Some of the pieces we've done, like Peter Beard. So the pictures are a pull. The general core is this book. I can't get an ebook because it's a multimedia book. And we have a few of the chapters here. The first chapter is, as young as I can remember, I met Hendrix, I met the guy, Tara Brown, all of these, George Harrison, people who were just around. So it's a very unusual childhood and unusual to see, like, I guess almost famous or the Wonder Years or a bit grittier version of those two things. A kid's eye view of growing up right in the middle of that sort of hurricane. So there's a picture of me with Hendrix, episode 1. It takes us to London. I was 5 years old. My father introduced me to him before the show at the Albert Hall. He put me on his shoulders. This is an interesting film. It's actually not been released yet because it was so contested. And they had the premiere just last year, 2019, because it was running out of copyright. So Jerry Goldsmith hired the Albert Hall and then screened it so you could retain it. Chapter 2 is, mom and dad has broken up. We're living with Charlotte just around the corner in this sort of framing shop. They're smuggling. Tommy's very involved in smuggling. We travel with Charlotte to Italy, but they also go off to capture this car that's fallen into a ditch. One of Mercedes's race drivers, Mikey Taylor, was a good friend of Tom's. And of course, Tommy being my father, and this is kind of the nub of the book, what it's like to grow up under that relationship of an amoral or drug dealing or, one of those guys, wild guys. They don't have the same boundaries as us. So so they come back and smuggle that car. So there's a lot of adventure and that stuff. In the next chapter, there's also, we're page boys at the Jagger wedding, and also we used to smuggle in this dope, this coke into the wedding, not by the Stones, but something Mum and Anita, sort of, they were in rehab, and Anita said that they were going to France, the Stones. There was this wedding, and they didn't know to buy anything. All of these kind of hijinks, adventures, and stuff like that. Terrifying stuff, and somehow we survive them. Another episode, we meet Joanna Hawkwood-Smith, Tim Leary, and, Joanna's going out with Dad. There's all this drama, and then they switch. Joanna, she's always falling in love with, I guess she has dad issues, but she's always falling in love with the next guy. So she goes off with him, and they get busted in Iran. Then we go to Denmark and explore our roots and so forth. There's another couple of chapters. We come back to England, and we sort of, Dad falls, into dealing and falls from grace, basically. Goes to prison. We're sort of rescued by the school, Summerhill. Jake goes out to live with, we're both meant to go out to live with this godfather in Hillsborough near San Francisco. One thing leads to another, but it's just a ragamuffin's tale of what it's like to grow up in the middle of that stuff. I think that's the core of it.
Right.
I'm going to just show you the rest. The other thing that I think it's too much to just be focusing for me on this, it will culminate in when I leave school and, you know, have a kid, find romance, whatever. But, you know, it's a good place then to stop it. But that's all childhood. So what I've done is I also have basically the interviews, people like Joanna Harcourt Smith or friends of mine or Deep Forest, or, you know, she has a good book. This is a great songwriter, John Green. He had just had his first country music #1. John de Mormon, British head of Cinematographers Association. John East, the director of The Last Kingdom. You know, different artists. And a lot of these do inform what I hope will be the book in the end. Anyway, so I think that is the bones of it. I think it's mainly the book, it's the interview. There is some stuff like, you know, I compose music, I'm an ASCAP producer. We're just really looking at that to underscore this idea of a book or an electronic book. But there are music sections, you know, it's also broken down if you want to just look at music interviews, different people like that. There's also a couple of travel things, being a bit of a hippie and a traveler and a film editor. We do talk about places like, I don't know, Catalina, Ibiza, places I've lived. So kind of alternate travel places. So that is kind of the whole thing. There's a creative shop, of course, you know, to try and we have a nice artist. I've yet to really push this or develop it. So we have a great artist. This is the creative shop, and, you know, you can buy some healthy products. We have some affiliate links, the artists we interview, their products, some voice coaching or, you know, language voice coaching for foreign singers. Do some affiliate links to the Guitar Center. Anyway, that's sort of it. I have some great, amazing pictures that are, you know, maybe about £1,000 each. Not that expensive, but stunningly beautiful. And I've got an agreement, you know, for us to host them. Thank you for listening. That is an overview. And I think now, even though it will be coming up to a year, now that I'm coming to the end of the childhood chapters and I have the form of a book, or at least the structure of the childhood parts of it, there may be 3 parts of the book later, I will edit it, do the notes I've taken, do some additions, make it an audio book, which I could.
Oh, I would love that.